You won't believe the chaos happening behind the scenes of the Commanders right now. The organization is facing a quiet crisis at the center position, with Allegretti injured, a young draft pick under extreme pressure to save his career, an unexpected suspension complicating everything, and now the first preseason game will reveal who truly deserves to be on the field. But before showing how this will impact every decision Dan Quinn will make, leave a like on the video. It helps me a lot. Seriously, it makes all the difference for the channel. Washington enters the preseason without a clear answer for the center position, and this is a real problem no one is talking about. Nick Allegretti was the absolute favorite, but a calf injury took him out of action at the most critical possible moment. What seemed like a temporary replacement turned into a much broader evaluation of the organization's depth. Julian Good-Jones took on the primary duties in joint practice against Miami, but his performance was too disappointing to inspire confidence. Against the Dolphins, Good-Jones had real struggles against the defensive tackles and was pushed back multiple times. The offensive line performed overall better during the joint practices, but the interior line clearly hadn't risen to the occasion on some running plays. This is concerning because Jaden Daniels needs time to develop his plays, and without adequate protection at center, the entire offense suffers. Wednesday did not help to boost confidence in anyone. The organization brought in veterans to reinforce the group and try to resolve this situation. Daniel Brunskill has 108 games in the NFL and 71 starts, bringing valuable experience that was lacking. Trey Hill was also added to the competition. The fact that Good-Jones is still playing most of the snaps indicates that Brunskill has not completely replaced him yet. But having this experience on the roster is absolutely crucial for when Allegretti returns. Several centers will be on the field against the Dolphins this weekend. The coaching staff hopes to learn how each one communicates with their offensive line teammates and with Daniels. This communication is absolutely vital for an offense to function well. Good-Jones, Brunskill, Goldman, and Hill are competing not only for immediate starting roles, but also for the backup position in Washington's hierarchy. Washington hopes to have Allegretti back by Sunday, which will change the situation once again. That said, each of these centers knows they are being evaluated not only for now, but for the future of the franchise. For Good-Jones, this is the opportunity to have an important role on the team. But his return will not necessarily end the competition, because the first preseason game will give Washington the best evidence yet of which of these other centers can be considered trustworthy. Matt Goldman arrives at his preseason debut with much to prove and many doubts hanging over his head. When Washington selected him in the 6th round of the draft, some believed he could immediately pressure Allegretti for the starting job. Even head coach Dan Quinn mentioned there was a real competition for the position. The reality was quite different from what experts expected. Goldman is a third-day pick for a reason, and it quickly became clear that the Commanders would integrate him gradually instead of throwing him in immediately. Perhaps proclaiming this as a true competition for roster spots put too much pressure on the young player. When Allegretti suffered the strain during the first practice of training camp, Washington did not put Goldman on the field. That says a lot about the confidence in him at that critical moment. The Commanders chose Good-Jones as the primary protector ahead of Daniels. His performances during training have been below average, but there is still reluctance to involve the Michigan State alum more. That will change in the preseason. The Commanders will give Goldman plenty of opportunities to showcase his abilities. The player, in his first year as a professional, needs to boost his confidence in his long-term prospects. Goldman had a decent performance in college football, playing for Wake Forest and Michigan State. He may not be the biggest or most athletic, but he stood out as a wall in pass protection with a solid base and strong hands. His relentless approach is hard not to admire. His leadership and versatility intrigued the Commanders enough to sign him, but there is still a lot of hard work ahead. The preseason is exactly for this, an opportunity for those on the margins to claim their space. It's a chance for the Commanders' brass to see how far along their young players are. Goldman is under the spotlight now. His place on the roster isn't in jeopardy, but he can't fall behind. With concerns surrounding Allegretti's ability to play effectively after the surprising release of Tyler Biadasz, the Commanders will be keeping a close eye. Goldman may not have secured a starting role immediately, but all is not lost. He is still adapting, and in the early stages of honing his skills. He is picking up the nuances and taking all the time he needs to fully adjust. The preseason experience will only help him grow. Goldman will face players fighting for their futures on other teams, so he needs to respond in kind. There will be challenges, but he needs to come out of them with more encouraging signs than negatives. While the chances of earning a starting spot as a rookie are slim, he needs to be ready as a versatile backup. After a turbulent summer so far, he might ease some fears against Miami. Anything less than that, and concerns will only mount for the organization. But now an unexpected hurdle arises that complicates everything further. Dorance Armstrong received a 1-game suspension from the NFL for violating the league's personal conduct policy. The suspension begins on August 30th, and the veteran defensive end will be eligible to return on September 14th. This represents yet another obstacle for his return, following an ACL tear in Week 7 of last season. Armstrong is 29 years old and has spent the last 2 seasons in Washington after playing 6 seasons with the Dallas Cowboys. In the 2024 season, he recorded 5 sacks, 33 tackles, and 11 quarterback pressures in 14 games. His second season was cut short by the knee injury. Now he faces a suspension that will keep him out of the first preseason game. This is a complication the defense didn't need at this critical moment. The NFL also announced other suspensions on Friday. Nazeeh Johnson, cornerback for the Tennessee Titans, received 6 games for violating the policy on performance-enhancing substances. Phidarian Mathis, defensive tackle for the Buffalo Bills, received 3 games for violating the substance abuse policy. But Armstrong's suspension directly impacts the Commanders at this time. Washington will turn its attention to the preseason on Friday night. The franchise will face the Miami Dolphins at 7 p.m. in its opener, continuing preparations for the 2026 season. This game is crucial for those vying for a roster spot. It's a critical opportunity to show the coaches what they're capable of. After joint practice on Wednesday and a day off on Thursday, the Commanders are preparing to host Miami at home. It is still unknown which starters will take the field and for how long. For those vying for a spot on the roster, this is a crucial opportunity to show coaches exactly what they are capable of. Katron Allen, the rookie running back, has the potential to surpass 70 total yards in a single game. The all-time leading rusher in Penn State history, he was a valuable asset for the Nittany Lions. Allen's agility and field vision in the open field were what attracted Dan Quinn to select him in the 6th round of the draft. Rookie offensive coordinator David Blau will have his first chance to lead the offense. Blau will likely use pre-snap movements to get his players into open space early in the drive. Allen is expected to take this time to improve his pass blocking skills, which still leave something to be desired. He needs to become a versatile running back for the Commanders. Colson Yankoff is also in a position to make a significant impact. After starting the training camp at the bottom of the list, Yankoff has blossomed in recent weeks as the Commanders implement a completely new offensive philosophy. Expect him to use his size in the back of the end zone to score a touchdown, regardless of who is throwing the ball. The third-year tight end out of UCLA has been practically overlooked by fans, but this could be the year he finally stands out. Currently at the bottom of the list, Yankoff is banking on these preseason games to prove why the Commanders should have 4 tight ends instead of the traditional 2 or 3. The defense also has an opportunity to show real progress. With a negative turnover margin of 13 at the end of last season, and facing a Dolphins offense with little identity, Washington should manage at least 2 turnovers. Fabian Moreau, the latest addition to the defense, had 6 interceptions in his first stint in Washington. Looking to reignite the flame of his career, Moreau should be able to closely cover whoever is on the field for the Dolphins. With reinforcements on the defensive line at nearly every position, expect Washington to pressure the opposing quarterback early and often throughout the game. Keeping the Dolphins playing in situations of numerical disadvantage should provide the necessary confidence boost for the franchise, which will face a more dynamic opponent at the end of the month when visiting Baltimore for the final preseason game. Everything is converging for this crucial moment. The Commanders have opportunities to address their offensive line issues, young players have chances to save their careers, and the defense can begin to show its real potential. So here's the burning question. Do you think Goldman will finally silence the critics in this first game, or will the lack of experience prove costly for Daniel's protection?